This story, this escalation of tension. Last night it was machine gun fire, damaging homes and cars. We had Shai hold up that jagged, dangerous, deadly piece of shrapnel from these mortars. They landed in a kindergarten. Thankfully, no kids were hurt. They were minutes away, though, from starting the school day. A staff member, though, was hurt, had to go to the hospital. This could escalate at any moment. If someone is hurt or killed on the Israeli side, we would see a completely different picture. How careful now is this response from the IDF, and how risky is this if someone is injured or killed?
It's true that up until today, there were probably two main game changers that would have drawn Israel into a major conflict or a major escalation with Hamas. One would be an infiltration and then the kidnapping of any Israeli civilian or an Israeli soldier, and or the harming or injuring of an Israeli soldier on that border with the use of an improvised explosive device or any kind of other tactic. Now,
we're not exaggerating here. That mortar landed in the yard of a kindergarten about 10 minutes before the school day, the kids were set to arrive. It really was on the verge of catastrophe.
It's true, and yesterday we were speaking with local residents, and the one thing that you understand about Israelis in that region is that they're very, very well trained to deal with these types of situations of emergency, and you saw that piece of shrapnel such that when the Israelis run for shelters, they're essentially giant metal boxes that they can run into, and that is intended to protect them from those pieces of shrapnel. And because these Israelis are so trained and well practiced at doing that, they did manage to save their own lives. And we heard from them today saying that immediately when they heard that siren, they ran for shelter because they practiced it. And
it's also interesting to note too, Emily, that we heard this from Shai, we heard this from some of the staff members of the school. This is a very heavily fortified building.
That's right.
They ran school. They had classes. The teachers were there because where else are you going to go? You're in the safe zone. You're in the bunker. You have to have class. You have to let the kids think it's a normal day. You have to have life continue.
One of the most striking comments from that kindergarten teacher that we heard this morning was, routine is healthy. She said, we're getting back to routine because routine is healthy. And that's the routine for these Israelis along that border. They live with this looming threat, sometimes with winds of war in the air, and they continue along their daily lives and are persistent at continuing with their routine.